All right, we are live. What's up, everybody? Steven here, the Horror Freak 85. Welcome to episode 22 of the House of Horrors, where I am joined by Dilynn, Fawn, Harvey. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. So just a few moments, I guess Todd will be coming on. So we'll just be chilling into then. If you have any questions, I'll go ahead and accept them tonight, too, if you want to win that Sleepless Nights. So... let's see.
There he is.
Hello?
Gotta turn on the camera.
I can't even hear him. If he's talking, I can't even hear him.
I don't think he's got his mic or
Hey, you guys there?
Yep, we hear
You guys there?
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
we're here.
We can hear you.
I don't have a camera that works worth a damn.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But
All
I
right,
have a
that's fine.
microphone.
That works.
Hey, you're here either way. That works. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on. Great talking to you. I started to say great seeing you, but great hearing you tonight.
Yeah, there you go.
So actually, I don't know if you would remember or not. You meet several people, but actually, before I got real big into Wild Eye a couple years ago, when I met Kate Phoenix, you showed me Clownnato and said this was your movie, and I didn't even realize who you were at the time. And afterwards, I felt so stupid. I'm like, duh, Todd Sheets.
It's true. I meet an awful lot of people. I tell you, that's one of the cool things about it, though, is you go all over the country and you meet so many cool people. You know?
Yeah, conventions are great. All of us who enjoy the same thing and get to meet you guys, and it's a fun time. So thank you for coming to those.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, we always
You got
love
me for
learning
about,
about the movies and the people who make
Yeah.
them or in them.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, that's why I listen to commentaries a lot, because I like that same thing.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. All right. I guess I'll start off. Again, thanks for joining us. First question for both of you. Hey, Patrick. Patrick's here to have Cheetah Willville just joined
And
us.
Hobbs.
And Hobbs, welcome.
Hello.
And Hobbs actually got a question I'll ask you later on, too, for that contest we got going on for Sleepless Nights. Basically, how was it for you two growing up? What kind of movies did you like? What inspired you to get into what you do? Was your family creative like you, or was it something you just got into yourselves?
Well, mine was pretty short since I didn't really grow up on horror films like most everybody else have. Mine was mostly Disney family related movies. We did watch some of the not as scary horror, I should say Halloween specials for families and stuff. And then as we got a little older, we did watch some of the mainstream like Freddy Krueger or Friday the 13th, stuff like that. I didn't really get into the horror stuff until I met Todd. And woo, boy, did they open up my eyes to a lot of crazy shit, man.
Right, you just went right.
You dove head first.
Pretty much did. All right,
But I
Todd,
can
your turn.
relate to that too. I wasn't allowed to watch horror movies. I wanted to see Gremlins so bad when it came out, and I wasn't allowed to.
But we actually were allowed to watch that one. I was surprised. My mom did let us watch Gremlins, so that was at least something.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to.
Oh my
But,
goodness! I don't know how you
kinda-
guys survived.
I know. It wasn't until like I was a teenager in the 90s is when I started getting introduced to horror movies and whatnot. But
Yeah, I'd
I
say
kind
the
of
first
discovered
one,
them on my own.
my first experience with Nightmare on Elm Street was funny though, because I think I was like 5 or 6, and I was being babysat. And my mom, like I said, she didn't really let us kids watch that kind of stuff when we were little. She let us watch as we got older, but not when we were smaller. And then when she came home to pick us up, and she saw that the second one was playing, because I guess they were doing back to back that night on the channel, and or maybe she was watching VHS, if I don't know. But she came home to that, and she was just so livid. She was so angry. That babysitter never got hired again. And I actually ended up having a nightmare for 3 days in a row, and it was the same nightmare about Freddy 3 nights in a row. It was so funny.
And one of my questions to you was going to be what inspired you to be a scream queen, but you kind of dove head first into it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So what about you, Todd?
Well, I kind of was, my first childhood memory is basically Night of the Living Dead on a triple feature with The Boy Who Cried Werewolf and the movie, which was about snakes, right? And that was my first childhood memory at a drive-in, because I was kind of born and raised in a drive-in in a way. So my mom went into labor at a drive-in, and they had to leave, and I was kind of, it was for me, the drive-in was the big deal. It was like you could see everything there. You never knew what you were going to get, because there's so many screens. I may like what's over there, but horror films were always big at the drive-in. So I kind of got ushered into horror at a very early age, and it was a very exciting thing, because at the time we had things, Creature Feature on TV and Friday Fright Night and all these things where we could watch the older stuff like the Hammer movies with Christopher Lee, or the Universal movies, which were a huge inspiration, with Lon Chaney Jr. and Bela Lugosi. And, you had the Creature in a Black Lagoon, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, you had Boris Karloff. And then you got into, Vincent Price and all those guys, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing. Those were like my heroes, them and Batman. Those were my heroes as kids. And so as I used to put together these monster models from Aurora that used to, you used to be able to find those at Kmart's and TG&Y stores, and you'd put those together. And basically I was really into the fantastical side of things. I just thought it was really cool because it was something I didn't see every day, something different, something exciting. So I really got sucked into that kind of horror. And then, as time evolved, horror got more and more extreme, because you had to do more and more to shock an audience, because, we'd seen it all. This country had been through different kind of problems with Vietnam and everything else. You couldn't shock them with a cat jumping out of a closet anymore. So, Night of the Living Dead was the first step. And then you get, Psycho, you get all those movies, you get even Dementia 13, then you get into, Dawn of the Dead, which was just wow. And, the Andy Warhol Frankenstein and Dracula movies, and the movies from overseas in Italy started playing here. And from Spain, we started getting, Mexican horror movies and things, and Paul Naschy's Werewolf. And all of them were getting more and more violent, more and more shocking. And at the same time, they were also in great color, and they were just very lurid and very, for a kid like me, it was just like, wow, this is just like a cornucopia at the time, because every weekend there was new horror films starting, unlike now where everything's pretty homogenized. Back then, it was kind of like all the movies were fairly different, and you could get crazy, teenage sex comedies, or, exploitation films plus horror films plus mainstream films. They were all playing at these places, the multiplexes and the drive-ins, and it wasn't such a monopoly, and everything wasn't so homogenized to look and sound the same. And so it was kind of an interesting time, a renaissance of art. Plus I got heavily into movies like Dolomite and the Human Tornado, Black Belt Jones, Foxy Brown, the black action films of the 70s. It was just an explosion of awesome entertainment. And from there, I just kind of fell in love with it, and I started kind of making my own stuff. I had my dad had a Super 8 camera he'd use for the holidays or whatever, vacation. And he had a sack full of film, which was a bad idea to leave around me. And I got that and started making these Super 8 movies with my friends about Frankenstein or Captain America or Batman or Wolfman, or whatever interested me that week. And we would start making these little things, and they would end up being about 10 minutes long, because you'd have a couple of reels of film, and then I learned how to edit. I built my own little editing system out of wood and stuff. We had a splicer, but that's all we had. So I started teaching myself that. And then we got a cool projector that you could dub sound on one of the tracks of the Super 8, because there's only 2. And so we could make the whole movie, then go back and dub our own sound effects or music in. And it was an exciting, but the problem was you had to do it on live. So you had to be prepared. You had to watch it like a whole bunch, make notes, and then you and your friends had to get a microphone set up and do it all right there. So it was kind of a horrible way to do it. But at the same time, it taught me a lot as a kid. And that's kind of where I got my start into this stuff.
That was kind of part of one of my questions. Guys, noticed that in one interview you said you started making movies like when you was like 9, 10, and you also edited them. I was going to ask if you taught yourself or if somebody showed you, but it's good to know that you taught yourself. It's probably, I learned better kind of teaching myself. I haven't been teaching myself to edit just my videos, but
it's hard though, because in the motion picture field, it's good to teach yourself because at the you'll learn really well and you'll learn. But at the same time, you need a mentor, I think, because teaching myself, my early movies, my first movies were pretty terrible. I was a kid, and but the problem is most people put those in a closet and they hide them and they only bring them out at holidays or when they see their old friends that were in them. And I allowed mine to get distribution worldwide, which resulted in me getting pretty horribly attacked and told, like one critic said, if I ever picked up a camera again, he'd kill my mother. I mean, things like that. It was like, and locally in Kansas City, the mentality here is you're not allowed to evolve or grow in 35 years. So my first movie, someone may have seen 35 years ago, and they're like, oh, that guy's a piece of crap. And they've never watched another one of my films since because of the closed-minded, mentality here in the Midwest. And so I catch a lot of flack for those early movies, and I kind of disowned them in 93 because what I consider my first real movie was Zombie Bloodbath, because I'd learned enough by that point. I actually kind of had some kind of idea what I was really doing. So, of course, that was a nightmare because it was in the worst flood in the history of the Midwest. And so we had to cut corners and change the script, and it was horrible. But at the same time, that's the one I consider my first real movie, because all those early ones, I was teaching myself as I went along. I was reading books. I was trying to learn. But without anyone to really show me the ropes, it was really hard. And back then, certain books didn't even have certain rules of filmmaking, like, the little line of action or the director's line or the 3-point setup or anything like that. It didn't really teach those things. It basically taught you how to load a camera and point it. And that's pretty much all I knew. So I was learning as I went by watching movies, and I started learning the color scope on film and how to use different colored gels and the lighting. And I mean, my films were always very colorful, which I'm proud of, but boy, I tell you, if I could go back and do it again, I would have hoped that I had someone there to kind of guide me through some of those difficult times, because when you first start out, it's rough. That's why nowadays when I see people starting out, I'm always like, hey, do a lot of shorts, read, get books, get it. There's all these great books now, like film directing, shot by shot, and all these things you can learn, painting with shadow and light. Man, Altman, you can't learn any better lighting than through Altman, who did all the film noir films. And he wrote that book. And I'm like, read these books and apply it before you go out making a feature, just so you don't have to endure the hell. Because let's face it, you can know what you're doing and you can work really hard, but you're still going to catch a lot of hell, because nowadays the critics aren't really critics. They're people sitting in a basement, or people who wanted to make movies and are really bitter. And so we get a lot of people who are just nasty people that shouldn't. I mean, like back in the day, at least you had to have journalism school to be a film critic. Now it's just like anybody who has a cell phone can go out and trash anybody they want to. And it's kind of nasty out there. So you got to be careful. So at least if you know what you're doing, you can point to it and say, well, you may not have liked it, but at least I did it, the way it's supposed to be done. But, the thing is with us, every time I shoot, every single day on the set, I learn something new. And if I don't, I consider that a wasted day. Like it's a complete waste of our time that day, because I didn't learn anything to further my education in this. Because anyone who says they're a pro, I mean, even Spielberg learns something new every day. That's what you have to do. You have to get out there and just keep evolving and learning and rolling and creating. And so I urge everyone to do it. Hey, grab a camera, do it, but at least get a few pointers and a few ideas. And nowadays you don't even need a mentor, because you have these books and learn from them. And I tell people to emulate their favorite scene. Like if your favorite scene is in a Spider-Man movie, go out and grab some people and film that scene yourself. And make sure it matches, like visually. Make sure it's shot by shot the way and you'll learn by doing that just how things are supposed to be composed and lit and things like that.
So go
On
hang
the-
upside down in the rain and do the upside down Spider-Man dance. All right.
I could just see some kid doing that right now, falling on his head. So it wasn't my fault.
Do not attempt this at home.
Yeah, practice safety for God's sakes. Come on.
Yes, safety first. On the sheets of gore, it has some of your earlier shorts. About what time period were they done at?
There's a bunch of different time periods. Some of them we were like 12, 13. Some of the
Nice.
Super 8 stuff I'm trying to get transferred. It's hard to, transfer them properly, and I'd like to put some of those. The thing is, I like those better than I do my early features, because those, we were just kids, and you can kind of see a spark of crazy, weird stuff going on in those. Like you can kind of see, hey, these guys were actually doing some cool makeup and cool lighting and all this kind of crazy stuff they were trying to do with the camera, and they were like 13 years old. I mean, it was like one of those
teaching
things.
yourself practical effects. And
Yeah, all that stuff. So it was kind of cool to see some of the stuff and to revisit that, because I was like, we were crazy, but we kind of pulled it off. Some of those things actually hold together, which is kind of surprising. I think it went up to when I was like 17. It's how I think it started at 12 and went up to 17, depending on the short that's in there.
nice. What'd you do, Dilynn, before you ended up into the horror movie scene?
Well, mostly stay-at-home mom, but there was a good chunk of my life, where about 10, 12 years, give or take a year, I did dance. I did exotic dancing for a little while. And then after I retired from that, I dipped into modeling. And then after I tried modeling, I was like, really wanted to be an actress. So I just started Googling, auditions and whatnot. And I didn't really find anything on on the websites entirely. That I did, but I didn't. And it did, meaning as in you needed to have an agent and whatever to get onto those things that I could find. So I started searching through Facebook search, and through Facebook, I actually found actors groups and all that stuff, people who were looking for extras and whatever. And I started finding some shorts in Kansas City. And that's when I first met Michael Redman, or Baron Redman. I met him, and I did a few shorts with him. One of them was a Spider-Man fan film where I played Felicia Hardy in that one. And then another one was for Allie Dunlop. That one's for Little Girl Lost. That was one of my first leading roles. And then shortly after that, I met Amanda Payton. Actually, I may have done Amanda Payton before I did the Little Girl Lost one. So it's a timeline in between there. I did shorts first, and then got up with Amanda Payton and Todd Sheets for the Extreme Entertainment. And then once I got on with them, because I auditioned for them once, and there's been history since.
That's
So
true.
I was expecting to do audition after audition with them, because that's how everybody else is. And then all of a sudden Todd's like, hey, I have a part for you. I want you to do this. I want you to. And that's really awesome, because that means he has a lot of faith in me. So that means a lot right there. But at the same time, I don't mind doing auditions, because that gives me more practice to audition for stuff. So
She got an education, boy.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, how you two met up, and what was the first project you two worked on together?
Well, the first project we worked on, that would be The Crawler with Amanda Payton.
Yeah.
But that was before I knew who Todd even was. Like, I had no clue. All I knew is there was this big guy working the camera, and I didn't know who he was. And Amanda was the one in charge. She's the one I was looking up to at that time. I thought she was Miss Boss Lady. She's the one that hired me. And as far as I knew anyway. I did not know it was a whole collaboration at the time. Like, I had no idea how this anthology, or that it was even an anthology. I just thought it was a short, like all the other ones I've done. So I did the thing with her, and I'm still learning who everybody is. Still didn't really know who they were. And then I get an email from Antoine. He says he had written a part also for Sleepless Nights, which I still did not know. It was not registering that this was for the same movie. Okay, so he said he has a short. So I'm like, okay, cool, another short. Sure, I'll do it. And then he sends me the script, and the name of my character in there threw me off so hardcore. And I was like, I go, hey, honey, you want to know what this character's name is? He goes, why? What is it? I said, Zombie Ho. He's like, the fuck?
Yeah, that's unfortunately about the only one of the shorts I ended up watching, because I was started watching it, and like the main story that leads into the different anthologies had like a fire alarm chirping in the background, and it was freaking my dog out. So I was having to like fast forward through like a lot of the movies, so I missed like most of it just trying to find something where it wouldn't beep, and I ended up on that one. I got to see Zombie Ho.
But that one was a lot of fun, and I was still just getting to know who Todd was, because again, when I went to go work with them, he again was behind the camera doing the camera work. I see. So when I actually got to know Todd, I think it was either for Dreaming Purple Neon or for the Muse. It was one of those two.
It was the Muse. Yeah, that was first.
It was the Muse. Okay. Yeah, that's when I actually started to get to know him, and then he told me about Dreaming Purple. He sent me a message about Dreaming Purple Neon. I was like, oh, this is cool, you know. So I really liked the script for Dreaming Purple Neon. It's still one of my favorites. And then I really got to know him after that. So
I've heard a lot of good things. I haven't got to see that one yet. I haven't found it streaming on anywhere, unfortunately, and I don't own it.
It should be on Amazon Prime.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay.
it was. Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look again. I must have missed it. I do. I got my Bonehill, though.
There you go. There you go.
They have Bonehill.
Yeah, that's like literally the only one I think this is the only Wild Eye movie I own right now, because I just got introduced to Wild Eye recently, besides whatever maybe random ones I picked at Dollar Tree, but I searched this one out.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, that one's like one of my favorites. That's probably one of my favorite werewolf movies is Bonehill. I really like that.
Well, thank you. We tried to do something different, you know.
You think they would ever consider a sequel to that, or has it been too long, or would you ever plan on making?
Well, we've got an idea. We're doing another werewolf movie, but it's not really a sequel to that.
Okay.
But we've got an idea for a sequel that could be pretty cool if we can get it together. We've got so many things on the burners right now that that one's kind of down the road because just so much stuff happening. We've got some pretty good opportunities happening that I
just
can't
further
believe
down
we're doing.
Bonehill Road. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what was your inspiration behind Bonehill?
Well, I've always loved werewolves. They're my favorite monster, and I've always, I watch every werewolf movie. Sometimes I get disappointed because I don't like the way the werewolves, and I don't like CGI werewolves.
Yeah, agreed.
I want to do something different. Every movie's kind of got the person who gets bit, and they go through the cycle, and you're following this character and blah blah. So I wanted to do something kind of like Night of the Living Dead, only with werewolves, where these people are in a bad situation to begin with, and then the werewolves are just kind of there, and you don't really explain who they are, where they came from, what they're doing. They're just there, and because I kind of think of werewolves as not really evil. They're just trying to live, kind of thing. Right. And so you stumble on their kind of hunting ground, you fall onto their property, and it's going to be what it is because they're going to try to survive, and you might be dinner. So kind of that kind of thing. So of course we look at them as like, oh, they're monsters and everything, but I kind of wanted them to be more like, all right, this is just a pack of werewolves, and these people stumbled on their area, and they're kind of like, hey, food. So and there was a place called Bonehill Road here in Missouri, and there used to be an old beat up 3-story house, kind of like a mansion there. And so my friend and I would go down there and travel through there, and the idea for it happened then, and this was back in like 89, somewhere in there, 1990. That was the first idea for it, which tells you how long, because I wasn't going to do it until I absolutely could do it the way I wanted.
Right.
And I also kind of wanted it to be more about the girls and kind of their story, what they were going through, and all these trials and tribulations, and the werewolves just kind of were coming into that. And I think we kind of pulled it off. People are kind of, it's either a love or a hate. Some people hate the fact that I threw a twist in there and it wasn't completely about just werewolves, but I thought that the story of the girls was very compelling, the mother and daughter, and I wanted to write them in a way that was realistic. And a lot of people have commented that, it's weird because I'm not I have a daughter, but I kind of wrote it pretty well from the female perspective, is what I'm told. I tried to, because I wanted it to be a really good story about these two and what they're going through and how it ends up, So it was one of those things I wanted to try a whole new kind of slant on the werewolf thing.
And I like how you put green eyes on. I don't think all of them had, if I remember right. I think it was only like maybe one. I
Yeah,
could
two
be
of them.
remembering that wrong. I just remember at least one of them had green eyes,
Mhm.
like bright green eyes.
Yep. I had two of them that we did that way. And to get that effect, we had to paint the eyes a certain way and then use black lights, like spotlights aimed at the eyes to make them pop like that.
Nice. Yeah, I thought that was really unique, and I liked that part. Then
Thank you.
Miss Dilynn got to be full werewolf.
And since we're on the topic of Bonehill Road, one of the questions for the prize there from Hobbs says, what was your experience working on Bonehill Road? And did you have to take yourself to a different place, Dilynn, playing that character?
Oh, yeah. Well, during the initial transformation part, we were trying to get to look realistic, trying to get my body parts to move like they were breaking up and splitting and growing. So that part was really intense because I had to block everybody out that was around for the crew and all them. I had to block them out because I was pretty much naked standing in front of everybody. That's not exactly an easy feat when you have to twist and turn and you're naked and vulnerable in front of everybody. So I had to block everyone out, and I had to be like, because when you slam your finger in a door, you're not thinking about anybody else. You're fucking in pain and you're about to pass out.
Yeah.
So that was what I was like, well, okay, so that's what would do it. And I would be jerking all over the place, not giving a flying rat's ass who's around watching me. So, because I remember a neighbor outside watching me be all dramatic because I lay down like on the sidewalk in front of my house going, oh, fuck, that hurts. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be in a lot of pain. So I'm just going to make it look like I just have no control over my body and it's growing and muscles are moving. Even my pectorals, I had them moving and flailing around and just making my back arch, making it look like this, because at one point the spine's getting ready to pop and stuff and do all that crazy jerking stuff. So I just had to throw everybody out of my head. Like, I'm just in this emotional pain, and I don't even know. I'm not even really in motion because there's so much pain and changing going on. So I have no clue how to deal with it. All I know is I'm like in awe as soon as I see fingernails growing. I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, I had to be different. I had to get into character, but not necessarily character as if I'm actually living this. So
It's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, like I say, if you want to try and be in pain, someone out there has dropped a toolbox on toe, which I've done also, and you've shut your fingers in the doors and stuff. Well, something that's caused a tremendous amount of pain. That's how you're going to react. So
Yeah.
And he wanted this to be a painful transformation, so that's what I did.
All right. And got another question here from Patty Landmark. What is the hardest part of starting the venture into writing a horror movie, Todd? At the very beginning, what's the hardest part of getting started? Hello?
Did we lose you, Todd?
I don't know. Did we lose Todd?
It says it's still there.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Did you find me?
Yep, we got you.
Did you hear the question, or
Hello?
do I need to repeat it? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I heard it. I heard it.
Okay.
I heard it.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can
Yeah.
hear you now.
Yeah,
Yes.
weird. I don't think I have a good signal. Sorry, guys, but I did hear the question, and my answer would be to kind of do an outline, kind of get your idea together first, because while you're writing, it may change. Your story may take you, like Dreaming Purple Neon took me places I never knew I was going to go. It just did. And you can force it, or you can let the story take you, And so I let the story just go where it needed to go. And it turned out, I think, better that way. And with Bonehill Road, it kind of did the same thing. I had a basic idea. I had my outline. I knew the beginning, the middle, and the end. And then I just kind of let the story take me where it took me, you know. And the hardest part, I guess, is just getting your idea solid enough that it's worth telling. Is this a story worth telling? Because as a filmmaker, what I learned over the years is the best thing is being a storyteller. I mean, a lot of people just want to gross you out, but I love telling a story. I've kind of grown, I guess, up a little bit, and I just want to do more than just gross you out. So sometimes it's a story that you have to figure out, is this story worth telling? Are people going to care about the story? Are they going to enjoy it? Are they going to care about the characters? And that's kind of the big part, is figure out if it's a story that you think people want to hear, and then start putting down what makes it special and make yourself some notes about it, and then start putting it together in an organized way. And once you do that, when you sit down to actually start writing, you kind of already have a basis and you already have an idea and you can see it. Like in my head, when I write, I see the whole film already put together on a drive-in movie screen. That's how I picture it. So I'm writing it and I'm trying to match what I see in my head when I film it and when I put it on paper. So that's kind of the hardest part, is just coming up with a concept that's worthy, because you're going to be living with this thing a long time. So just make sure that it's something that you feel like people care enough about, or that you care enough about, that you want to tell this story. And sometimes it can be goofy stories like Clownnato. There's absolutely no emotional connection to Clownnato, but it was kind of like a comic book story I wanted to tell, just something fun and stupid and goofy and but at the same time kind of a fun ride, you know, like something different. And I just kind of, you know, we had the title first. A friend of mine threw the title at me and dared me to basically make a movie out of it. And so, you know, we took off with that, and we kind of worked over the years to make it, you know, it took me like a couple of years to get it where I liked it. And is it a story I think the world wants to hear? No, but I think it's a fun ride, you know, so that was a kind of a different thing.
I think it's a little bit more popular than maybe what you give it credit for, because I belong to some horror groups and I see it like get talked about every now and then. They'll see the poster and the people are talking like, oh, we have to see that.
I gotta be honest with you. It took me by surprise because it was kind of a goof. And then all of a sudden I'm on Entertainment Tonight. My name is up there and they're showing our posters and stuff. And I'm going, hold on a minute. We just got on Entertainment Tonight. What is going on here? I mean, this is, you know, this movie costs like $3 and they're putting us on Entertainment Tonight. What the hell is happening here? And yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So was it kind of a spoofing idea from Sharknado, and you just wanted
Not at all. Not at all. That was a funny thing. My friend kept saying, you guys need a hit, so you need to put NATO on the title. And I was like, what are we going to have, Wolfnado? Because we were making a werewolf movie at the time. We were making Bone Hill Road. And he's like, no, you gotta like put NATO. Even if it has nothing to do with it, it's going to be a hit. And so he came in and he goes, don't you have that poster about the clowns? Because I have a script from years ago about clowns. And he's like, why don't you just turn that into a Clownnato movie? And I said, Clownnato? Hold on a minute. That kind of has a bell. It kind of rings a bell. I kind of like it. So we kind of hashed out half of a storyline, and I just did it. And people seem to like it. Some people hate it with all their heart, and that's okay. You know, I know that we did the best we could with no money to do a movie about a tornado with a bunch of clowns in it. And it was tough to make. It was really tough. I had someone today ask me from a foreign market, foreign distributor, said, are you going to do a Clownnato too? Because I'll pick it up. I said, dude, at this point, I don't ever want to hear the word clown or NATO combined. But it was just hard. It was a hard movie, and I had to teach myself how to make a tornado and stuff. I didn't know how to do that stuff.
Not a lot. Even a Clownnato. I mean, gosh, that's even more.
I know. And then some people are like, there's not even a tornado. I'm like, yeah, there is. What, have you watched the movie?
It's what transports the clowns around.
It transports them.
Yeah, they're mad because
I even brought that up in my review, which I've debated about redoing because I didn't really word things the way I wanted it to. But I was like, yeah, the tornado like drops them off, they cause her havoc, and then picks them up, and off
it's
they
like
go.
a taxi. That's right. Because you know, they wanted to see clowns just whizzing around in circles, and I was like, yeah, but then it really would be like a Sharknado ripoff. So I wanted to do something different.
Right.
And, not necessarily better, by golly, but it was at least different.
Right. Yeah. And was Dylan's part already wrote in, or did you go for it, or how'd that come about?
Oh, I immediately knew Dilynn was going to play this part because I said to myself, I want to have a part with a stripper with a heart of gold and a black Elvis and a country guy that's a hick but turns out to be pretty cool. And I already had all the characters laid out in my head because I always wanted to make those characters in a movie sometime. And so I decided, hell, I'll just put them all in this one movie.
Of course,
and
the
a lot
waitress,
of people,
my name's not Flo, bitch.
That's right. And the funny thing is, even Linnea Quigley's character is an homage because that character comes from Sorority Babes in a Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. It's the same character.
Okay.
Nice.
So it's kind of an homage to all those B movies that I loved growing up. And sure, it's goofy. And then I got on the kick that I wanted to visually make it kind of like a noir film. And I thought it'd be funny if the clowns were kind of goofy and they kind of were stuck in their old school gangster types. And so the leader would talk like he's in an old 1940s noir movie because he's goofy as hell.
Yes. I think it played out very well. I enjoyed it. It is one of my top Wild Eye movies for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think Clownnato was like one of my first introductions into the Wild Eye film. It was before I realized what Wild Eye was, but yeah. But yeah, the title is what brought me in. I thought that was a fun movie. And then I found Bone Hill Road, but no offense, I like it better. But
yeah, of course. It's a better movie by far, but Clownnato there was something about it when we made it. And we were like, this has got some charm, it's kind of an old school.
Yeah.
And the thing was, we weren't trying to everyone takes it so serious, I'm like, look, we're just trying to have fun, trying to make something for people to enjoy. We weren't trying to go out there and, create an Academy even close. We've actually won awards with that movie. I don't even know how, but we did. And, I think visually it's really pretty cool on a visual level. I like what we did. Story-wise, I think there's a few things I would like to change, but we didn't have the time or the money like I wanted to. And, it's not a perfect movie, but there's some cool stuff in there. And I think the effects are really good. So I'm real happy with all the makeup and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think the acting, the actors, they were up against a big obstacle. So, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Satchel too. Kate Phoenix and the Monster Tits. What made you think?
I love her. That was an homage to a film called Mausoleum with Bobby Breezy. And she was this demon. She got possessed by this demon, and she grew her boobs turned into these like monster faces that were like trying to kill Marjo Gortner. So I was like, you know what? That was so much fun. I didn't really want to do exactly the same thing, so I just had ours turn into teeth. Like, feed me, Seymour, like the big.
I was thinking like Little Shop of Horrors, like. They were all natural
too.
Of course.
That's what I love. I just love that. That line is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And Kate did so good. I mean, she just really did good. All the clowns did so good.
Yeah. I don't think people respect like the indie art anymore, especially comedy ones. And that's usually what I enjoy, the horror comedy. That's usually my genre. So anything that's silly like that is like usually right up my alley. But yeah, people just they see something and go in expecting like something that's trying to think of something that's like mainstream. We'll go with Freddy Krueger, and they go in expecting something like that, and they're going to see a title that's called Clownnato, and it's like, you see the title, you should know what you're getting into.
Yeah, and literally we needed about 40 or 50 grand to do it right, and we got 10 at the time. So, it was not as easy as everyone thinks to try to pull that off with no money.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we love the indie work.
We can't really compete.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Here in our community, we love the indie work, so we appreciate it.
Yeah. Did I lose you?
No, he cut out a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing with us is, we would love to have done more. We would love to have had more stuff and done more with it, but we just couldn't,
Yeah.
We just couldn't do it, unfortunately. I wish we would have had a lot more time and a lot more money, but that's what we had, and so we did the best we could with it. And again, I think visually, we did some cool stuff. We pulled it off. I mean, the thing shot nice. It's just not, people don't always look like that. They're like, yeah, this movie just didn't work for me. Well, that's okay. I get it. And I'm okay with that because I can't please everybody. And on that budget, I couldn't even please me. So it's like, I get it. I totally get it. But
I know
I think
going in just have fun.
I think we did, the best. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. We were just like, you know what? Let's just do this. And, I mean, I could have canceled it, but I was like, nope, because we already got people that contributed, that believed in it, and we're going to make it work. So we did.
We're glad that you didn't cancel it. We needed Clownnato in our lives.
Yes.
I appreciate it. I do think that there's a following. I think it's growing on people over time.
A lot of us are doing reviews on it on YouTube, like Wild Eye Wednesday. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but a bunch of us review Wild Eye movies, and they have been reviewed.
That's cool.
In the past, so.
I did one on Clownnato and Bonehill Road, but it was last year sometime, like when I first started doing reviews. Because I've only been doing like a year or so. That's how I ended up getting introduced to Dilynn. She found my video.
So since you were kind of talking about...
That's cool. See, that's what it's about. See?
Oh. I think he cut out.
Lost ya.
I'm still here. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm somewhere around here. No, you guys, I wanted to say something to you guys. I'm afraid my phone's going to cut out, but I want to say something before that happens to you, okay?
Okay.
I want to say what's going on. Basically, I want to thank you guys because you guys are what keeps us going. You guys keep these things rolling, They are, without you and getting the word out there and doing all this for us, we would never be able to continue. And we make these movies for you. So, when I bitched earlier about the people who were nasty critics, I wasn't talking about you because you guys are fans of the genre. I was talking about people that just want to destroy other people. But,
oh, yeah, definitely. We get that. Uh-oh. Cut out again.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got most of that then. But
yeah, usually those people are like the people that think they need the attention, like on YouTube to get bigger,
there?
more following.
Oh, yeah, we're here. He's back.
Well, how much did I lose? Did I lose all of that, or did you catch any of it?
We heard up to the point where you were saying the other people being nasty, not us, and you appreciate it, and that's when you cut out.
Yeah, well, you guys are the goods, and I want to thank you for that because you guys are what it's about. You guys are why I keep doing this every day. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Definitely keep doing what you're doing too.
I appreciate it, guys. I'm going to go because my phone's cutting out.
I want to say something real quick before you go. I got to see a Ouija death trap this week, and I like that you put on the thing in the credits that the actors and the situations, they had no prior knowledge. And to be honest, that's the way a found footage should be made. That was a very underrated, very good found footage movie.
Well, thank you for that. I'll never do another one, but I really appreciate that very much.
Except that we actually did do a sequel to that, but it didn't. There's a weird incident that happened towards the end of filming that caused it to not be able to get finished. So it's really sad.
We're working on it. It'll get out there eventually. It'll get out there.
Anything you want to promote before you go or get cut out or anything you want to tell us?
Dilynn can handle all that. She's there. She knows what we're doing. I just tell everybody, go to zombiebloodbath.com, look me up on Facebook, hook up with me anywhere you can, and look forward to hearing from people. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye, Todd.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Awesome.
All right.
I think Tim Hatch had a couple questions too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. I was going to get to his.
Go ahead and get to Tim's.
Were any clowns harmed in the making of Clownnato?
No animals and no clowns were harmed during the making.
And our little fanboy Tim, just kidding, Tim, if you're watching, I'm just playing. What's your favorite work, and how is it being famous, and do you enjoy it?
Let's see here. My favorite movie, That is a really hard one because they're so different. I don't even think I would really have a favorite, but especially since it's a toss-up between Dreaming Purple Neon and Bone Hill Road. Dreaming Purple Neon because, I mean, who doesn't want to be a queen?
Right.
That was so much fun because of all the blood that went into it, being covered head to toe. And at the time, I still had the blonde hair. So when they covered me in all the blood for the birthing scene, covered it, Jackie Butler made the concoction for me. She was trying to make it so it wouldn't stain my hair, because when I did the muse, half of my hair was pink for like 2 weeks. And that was from the arterial spray from my throat during that one scene. So when we did Dreaming Purple Neon, she was trying to make it so they wouldn't do that. So she covered me, and I think she mixed it with conditioner, hair conditioner, or shampoo or something like that. So when she covered me in it, covered me the rest of my entire body covered in the blood. And we have prosthetics made because we weren't allowed to show nipples on the property in Kansas. There's a nudity clause. So they came up with nipple horns, which is why I have nipple horns in the movie. And that was my nipple coverings, so we're pasties, if you will. So that's how we got around that. And I would wear a pair of nude pantyhose and some stringy stuff around to make it implied that I was naked coming out of this 14-year-old girl's body. So since she was our sacrifice. So doing all of that crazy stuff, coming up out of there, then having a huge queen chair that was made for me was amazing. When I came to the throne, when I came in and saw my setting for that, after I got into new makeup and the new costume that was made, and I was putting like this badass armor suit, and I was like, this is cool shit, man. So when I came in and saw my throne, and Todd's like, you're gonna sit up there, I'm like, I'm gonna what? Oh, that's awesome. So getting to do that, getting to do the crazy stuff, throwing men around like they were feathers and stuff, like all of that was just a lot of fun. And then going to Bone Hill Road, you have this whole other feat where I get to transform into a werewolf. I mean, that's freaking amazing right there. And we tried doing a lot of the transformation with RJ and Jackie, and they did really good on getting other stuff, all the makeup and FX together, and trying to do the bubble face and all that. But there was just more that we just needed, and we just didn't have the funds for. So Joe Castro got a hold of Todd and said, hey, I can help out with this. He gave us a nice deal that we could afford. So they flew me out to LA, to Burbank, to work with Joe Castro to finish this big transformation sat me down in his chair for like 3.5 hours, I think it was, for makeup. Had my entire face done, and he put on the bubble stuff, and then he put on a whole new face that he had made for me. This face that he had made for me, he made from a picture, just a picture that Todd sent of him. And he was able to recreate a whole nother layer of face. And I came in, when I saw that sitting on the table, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I got to help put on the makeup from the tears and stuff, the old dry eyeliner and all that stuff. I got to put on the face, and then I painted the nails that he had made. And then he made me teeth right then and there that was made just for me. So that was a cool experience. And I got to actually keep those. That was neat. Yeah. I was like, man, this is cool stuff. So watching him stretch the snout, and watching my fingers grow, and watching the foot grow and extend was so crazy fun. And then getting into back home, and then getting into the werewolf costume, like I said, it's a toss-up right there. I love the entire experiences of those, So those two are probably right there as my favorites. It's really hard to choose.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I love them all, though.
Before I ask my next question there, Brad just stopped by and wanted to say hello to you, Bronco Juggalo. I can talk about it. Bronco Juggalo.
And while you're looking for your question, I have to highlight DW Menace comment. What about Clown Bus? Pay the fare. That is amazing.
What did he say? Clown Bus?
Yeah, so what about Clown Bus? Pay the fare. That would be a nice little tagline to it, though. I like that. That's clever.
Yeah.
Well, he was in the movie. if you don't know, he was in the movie. He was the guy that I choked out with the legs. He was a crazy drunk.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
His brother, I think, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
I did not know that. All right.
Now you know.
And he was saying, what was the roughest project you worked on together, and how much fun is it reeling off these cool films?
Working with Todd?
Yes. Or
Okay.
what project? What was the roughest project you worked on together? Yeah.
The roughest project. Let's see, me and him, that probably would be either Bonehill Road or the Muse, because the Muse has a very interesting story, because the place that we had a hotel room that we had rented out, they had rented out, and I guess, and the lady they talked to said, hey, you could film here, you can do this, you can do that, feel free, we'll charge you by this hour, whatever, or the night. However, whatever plan they had worked out. Well, when we get there, and we're setting stuff up, I'm getting into my costume, and all of a sudden we get this knock on the door from this big ass guy, and he's like, you can't film here. And Todd's like, well, we've already paid money, we've got it rented out for the night. And the lady we talked to said it was okay. He goes, I don't give what she said. I said, you can't film, you're not doing no damn porno in here. We're not doing a porno, we're doing a horror film. And he's like, I don't care what you call it. I've turned big people down, but I've turned people from Jurassic Park wanted to film here, and I turned them down. And we're like, sure, buddy. Okay. So after about 3 or 4 hours of messing around with this guy, Todd's like, okay, forget it. Let's just pack up and go. So we packed up everything, and we went down to the office where they do all their business and stuff at. And we took one of the empty offices, and we makeshift an apartment, if you will. And we put together a bed. We put together that actually had a bathroom there. So I think there was a bathroom there. I can't remember now. We may have done that one separately. But either way, we got the room to look like an apartment. That took probably a couple hours on its own, just setting the room up before we could even get his parts and our monster parts filmed. Meanwhile, I'm out in the waiting room waiting with my husband, and I'm just falling asleep. And Todd's like, this is probably about 1 o'clock in the morning by now before even getting to me. And he's like, man, that son of a gun. Like, he was so mad at that person at the other hotel. He's like, my freaking actors are falling asleep. I can't get this. Almost 2 o'clock in the morning. This poor guy was so tired. But he was saying it in such a nice, friendly way of complaining. Like, how do you get... You feel so bad for him. I'm like, oh. All because of one person. And I guess I guess it was his daughter or something. I don't know what the relation was. I can't remember. It's been a while. But I guess she didn't have permission to let people film there. I don't know. But all I know is this guy was not having it. He was upset. So I think by the time we got done filming and everything, it was probably about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So, but we managed to get it done. It took us 2 days total to get everything done, but we did finally get it done. So that could be the roughest for me and him together.
Hopefully you guys got if you paid extra money for filming, hopefully you got that back and she didn't keep it.
Yeah, the guy was supposed to refund it, so I don't know if Todd ever got his money back or not. I think the second roughest part would be with Bonehill Road, because somebody took off with half my costume, the wardrobe guy. So there was a dispute or something happened, and the guy took off, and he took off at the bottom half of my costume, so all I had was the upper half. So the only time you see me in full costume is only in one scene, and I think it's the scene where I got on the truck. And because you filmed that part first before something had happened, I don't know what happened. And then when we go to film the kitchen, you only see up to here pretty much, and that's because I didn't have any bottoms. The guy took off all the costumes.
So was it like wearing it like Silence of the Lambs in front of the mirror, just half the body? Like, would you fuck me? Or come on.
And then another funny story to that is the wolf nails that I had in Bonehill Road. Jackie had picked up the wrong nail glue. She picked up super glue instead of nail glue. And so I had the nails glued to my fingers for like 4 or 5 days, and they were long. It took me a while to get those off, but I finally did get them off. And not only was I able to get them off, I was able to save them in case we do a sequel. So that was a plus.
Nice.
Here's hoping. I don't know, but you might not have your bottom half though. Again, I don't know unless you get a new one.
And if anybody has not seen,
we'll get it. We'll get a new costume.
Okay.
But anybody that has not seen Bone Hill Road, make sure to watch. There's a cutscene that you need to watch.
Yes.
Make sure to watch that. It probably don't really go towards the plot or anything, but it's funny, I think.
Yeah. Are you talking about the after credits?
Yeah.
That was fun.
A lot of people don't know about like after credit stuff. So if I watch a movie and I do a review on it, make sure to add that there's a cutscene in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That was 2 of our wonderful band members from Almost Kiss, a tribute band here in Kansas City. They are wonderful people.
Yeah, I just seen you talking about
cool,
them. Was it a couple days ago, something like that?
Who was?
I just seen you talk about them just a couple days ago.
yeah, Almost Kiss. Yeah, and then I was also, they're great. And then Poison Cherry is who I saw for Poison tribute band. They're actually from Texas. So, but they're pretty cool. I haven't seen them in a minute though. Poison Overdose does pretty good. Scott was also the lead singer, from what I understand, in that tribute band for a little while too. They're pretty good. I liked it when Scott sings. So.
Nice. It was funny, like when you was talking about that tribute band. Just so happened, my hometown had a tribute band for Kiss as well, and
nice.
I think it was called Dress to Kill.
Oh, okay.
And I had like pictures in my Facebook memories of them when he was talking about that. I was like, "This is a weird coincidence."
That's great.
So I guess for the questions though, for the sleepless nights, I guess Tim Hatch and DW, I guess they were just asking questions, goofing around. So I guess it's either between Patty or Hobbs, I guess, are the only questions we got there. Patty had the question about writing the script, the venture of it, and then Hobbs asked you about the I think that was the Bone Hill Road. Yeah, experience on Bone Hill Road. So.
I don't want to choose. You guys choose.
That was false advertisement. Well, Dilynn will pick the best winner. flip a coin.
Well, I was hoping Todd would choose.
Unfortunately, you should just call him right up. Todd.
Okay. If I had to choose, I think I would go with one I hadn't heard before, and that was the writing question for Todd.
Okay.
Only because I've been asking, I've answered the other question a lot, and I just heard it before. But they're both really good questions, and I love answering the question. But I like telling the story because it's fun.
All right.
So I don't know. That's really a hard one. You guys got to vote too. Don't leave it on me.
Well, that's what we said. It's on you. And it is a good question, though. It is a good question about the writing process. I mean, I like that one. So, all right. So,
yeah, I like the Tim. Oh, I agree with that one. But like Tim's one, if you guys do happen to do another Clownnato, you got to put in the end credits where it says no animals are harmed. You got to add the no clown.
That is in the credits.
Oh, is it?
It is in the credits.
It's been a minute since I've seen it, so I don't remember that. But yeah.
Yeah. It even says no clowns were harmed in making.
Actually, I just watched that again today too, and I think I remember seeing that, but I wasn't. I was like, oh yeah, duh. That's why that
no animals and no clowns.
That's why he was joking when I asked that question. Oh, were clowns harmed? Seriously? Oh, duh.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while because I wanted to watch all the newer stuff, and I never got around to watching stuff I'd already seen, so I'd forgotten that was in there, but that's nice. Are you and Todd both based out of Kansas?
I'm based out of Kansas. I think Todd's based out of Missouri side.
Oh, that's right. He said Missouri. I'm stupid.
Yeah, no, because Kansas City is split between the two, so it's kind of hard to tell. And I live in Topeka, Kansas. He lives in the Kansas City metro Missouri area. So
I bet that's confusing. Living in Kansas and Missouri.
Yeah, because there's a Kansas City, Kansas, and then there's a Kansas City, Missouri. Because
Right.
Kansas City is pretty big.
Is there like a big like indie scene in either one of those areas, like indie filmmaker scenes?
I live in Topeka, and we have a few filmmakers here in Topeka, but not real big. I think they're mostly in Kansas City. Like I said, I worked with a few out there, so I think there is an indie scene there. Patrick Ray, he's pretty famous for some of the stuff that he's done. He did I Am Lisa, and he also did this doggy one called Home something. Can't remember the name of it now. But he's done a few, and he's based in Missouri, I believe.
Nice.
Hopefully I don't got that wrong. I don't. He's either in Kansas or Missouri. He's real close.
Nice. It's always good to know when places other than like huge cities and that you expect like filmmakers like Seattle or California. It's good to hear that there are other places as well.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans? Would you ever want to write any of your own stuff, or you just want to stick with the acting?
Well, it just depends on. I wouldn't mind writing stuff. I took a short story writing class when I was younger, right before I had my daughter. And in fact, I got the diploma for it right before she was born. But I haven't really done anything since. I haven't really dabbled in writing since high school, pretty much. So it's definitely. I wouldn't oppose to it because I always get ideas from time to time. I'm always writing ideas down, but I never get back to it. I think it would have to be like I just got to put initiative into it. So maybe one day. But definitely focusing on acting because that's pretty much a good passion I have right now.
Mm-hmm. So how was it? Since you went right into horror, that was your first stuff. How was that, like doing all that stuff in it, dealing with the gore, like all the extreme?
That was such a weird experience because I wasn't expecting, like when we did the crawler. I know when I was younger and I watched zombie movies when I wasn't supposed to be watching them, but I'd sneak out of bed and see what was on HBO or whatever. And I would see the zombies. I hate zombie movies. Even to this day, they're not my favorites because they're just so creepy and gross. So I can watch them better now that I know what happens behind the scenes. But back then, they just freaked me out so bad. And I would see people's flesh getting ripped off. I'm like, oh. So experiencing that, ripping somebody's neck out in the crawler, and how she showed me how to do it. And they had this fake skin that I was supposed to bite with my teeth and pull on it. And then showing me how to hold it down to make it look like I'm biting his neck. And they put this thing in my mouth. This big old tube. And she says, okay, we're going to squirt stuff in your mouth. And you're just going to let it flow out. I'm like, I thought we were making a porno. What the fuck?
That's why that guy thought you were making a porno at that place. He must have worked behind the scenes.
No, but seriously, though, they stuck this long tube. They stuck it in my mouth, and as soon as when she said action, she started all this strawberry tasting milk came flying out of my mouth, and I'm like, oh, what the?
At least the toilet tastes like strawberry milk and wasn't nasty and made you gag or something.
Yeah, it tasted pretty good. So I wasn't hating it. Come to find out, it was actually it was like a powdered chocolate milk or something like that. Like chocolate, that tastes like strawberry to me.
Maybe it was Nestle.
But it wasn't gross. So I wasn't gonna get mad. All I know is I didn't react, even though I wanted to inside my head. I'm like, oh my God, stuff's going up my nose. But I just went ahead and tore into the guy's neck until she said, stop. That was quite a mess. That was crazy watching all this stuff just spray everywhere. And I'm just like a mad dog on this guy's neck. So. And she's like, just pull up like you're pulling the skin off. So that was fun. So that and then experiencing the bloodbath and literally.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I absolutely love making the horror films. I love getting into the makeup and all that stuff. So it's a blast.
I was just about ready to ask if you ever considered wearing another like full thing like the werewolf again,
I hope so. I definitely hope so.
Let's see. I think that was all the questions there. You got anything else, Boom?
I don't believe so.
Trying to think if there's anything else, anything upcoming you can tell us about, or
I wish I could. We haven't got word that we can. We got something in the works, and hopefully it will get released really soon.
Okay.
But how soon, I don't know. I think we were hoping for a fall release, but I think it's going to be more of a winter release, which is actually pretty good because it takes place in that era, so that time. So it'll work out pretty good if it does get accepted. We're just waiting on the news to see if it gets accepted.
Nice.
And as soon as we find out, then we can start promoting it. But until then, I can't say nothing about it.
Do you know if it's going to be a Wild Eye or through another company?
It's going to be through, probably most likely through another platform.
Okay.
But I can't say what it is yet.
That's fine. I was just wondering if we expect a Wild Eye or another platform. So okay.
Yeah. See, this one I don't know. But because of who's backing it, I think it's probably going to be through a different platform.
Okay.
So
well, we'll definitely keep an eye out for it and stuff. So.
Puppy says hi.
Ah.
Yeah, I seen the dog come up earlier right before my cat jumped up. Such a cutie.
It's Silver. He's my little Sheltie.
Adorable.
See if I can get Storm. Storm, come here. Come up. Up. Come here. Up. Yes, my baby. Yes, my big baby. See if I can get her to come up.
Yeah, I want one of them so bad. Aw.
Aww. You can see it gets complicated sometimes running lines to myself, and when I have to practice an emotional scene, she will come up in my lap and do just that.
Mine does the same. Well, either that or if I go on the floor because I have a lot of like medical things. So if she sees me on the floor, she thinks that's bad. So she's like right up on me, giving me kisses and freaking out. But if I just sit on the floor and it's like not something bad, because I've had some really bad falls. So she sees me down. She's like, that means bad. So mama's hurt. So she's all over me, giving me kisses and whatnot, just like that.
That's so sweet. Aw. Dogs are the best. They are the best. I love cats too, but dogs are the best.
Yeah, for some reason my cat gave me a visit. Usually he don't come visit me while I'm doing this, but he popped up for a little bit. I don't know if you see him jump up in my lap for a little bit when he.
I love that.
Yeah, years back I had a just passed away. I haven't had a dog in a while, but she was part Dalmatian, Chow, Pit Bull. She had like the face of a lab's Pit Bull markings. Her tail went up. She was all white, black, and the black dot on her head. And it was funny because when she was a puppy, we trained her to get the paper. She was really smart. She did a bunch of stuff, and she would get the paper during the week. But what was funny is on Sunday, you know, it was the big paper with all the ads and stuff. So we told her to go get the paper, and it barely fit in her mouth. So she tried dragging it in. Like she started to leave it, and we're like, "Why aren't you getting the paper?" She'd go back. She's like trying to pull it in until it like fell out because it would scrape against the driveway and it would tear open. But it was funny because it was such a big paper, it wouldn't fit in her mouth.
Oh, cute.
And then a neighbor found her sitting by a fire hydrant and it was raining, so she hated getting baths, obviously. But just dropped her on the side of the road, and I had a chicken at the time too, so like, and Cinnamon was pretty much like, it was funny because sometimes she would lay on the bed and like, I guess one time pecked her, like just let her know. I mean, she didn't like attack or anything, you know, but they were like trying to like, oh, I'm here first, you know. And then I where the chicken's on the dog's bed, and Lucky's like kind of looking over, like, how dare you be on my bed?
Yeah,
oh, what a cutie pie.
He's ornery, very ornery. He tries to murder my son on a regular basis.
It's even better when they're ornery. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna point out my daughter's picture right here. My daughter painted that.
Oh, nice.
Okay,
that is amazing.
I'm showing off her work.
You see it?
There we go.
I noticed the Yoda too, and I did see that painting. I didn't realize she painted it, but
There's Yoda and Princess Leia. That was done by Todd Smith. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He did the animation for the 1990s Batman and Spider-Man cartoons.
Okay.
He's a really nice guy. He's awesome.
Good. It's some neat stuff there. Is there anyone you haven't worked with yet that you'd like to?
I'd like to work with Patrick Ray. Hint, hint, if you're watching. But, you know, I mean, there's a lot of people out there I'd love to work with, you know, a lot. Jessica Cameron, she's amazing. I'd love to work with her one of these days. And there's so many names out there. It's just hard to fathom which one at the moment. But even people, bigger names I'd love to work with, you know, maybe one day.
Right. And
Mel Brooks, I would love to work with Mel Brooks.
That would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
I love Mel Brooks so much. He is one of my, up there with Todd. He's one of my favorite filmmakers. And I love comedy. Comedy is probably my favorite genre next to horror. So,
yeah. I like the merge between the two. I was trying to get my son to get the dog picked up, but she's freaking out. She don't like to be picked up all that well. So I was trying to get him to pick her up so they could bring her over, but she's panicking. So.
My son started getting into the horror stuff, the horror, comedy horror. His favorite one is Velociraptor. Because
Velocipastor, you mean? Velocipastor?
Yeah, you're right. Velocipastor, that's it. Sorry, my bad.
No, that's okay.
He loves that movie. His favorite scene is when they're coming out of I think it was a church or something from a memory, and they show the guy's car on fire, and it just says "car on fire" without the actual effect.
Visual effect.
He ended up laughing so hard.
It's like,
yeah, that was great.
It's like you got ninjas. Like, I mean, it's so silly, but it's hilarious, though. You know, just
yeah. I'd also like to work with Ken Hatch one of these days too.
Yeah. I just seen a YouTuber with like 1 million subs. I won't say who, but because I'll get labeled. But review Velocipastor, and they thought it was great, which was strange seeing that, you know, because they're not like they don't do horror reviews, and they thought that movie was great.
It is. That's a fun movie to watch, though.
Yeah.
It's funny, like a couple of people have saying, I forget the actress's name actress who was in it, but she kind of reminds me of Misty Munday a little bit. Kind of looks like her. I don't know if you know who that is, but
I don't know if I'm familiar with her or not.
But yeah, they kind of
look bad with names. It's not even funny.
Me too.
Yeah,
like, when I want to remember people that I've worked with, I got to write it down so I can go back and say, "Oh, that was that makeup artist."
What, you don't remember working with me on that? Oh, that hurts. Come on now. That's kind of funny because, who was it? From Boondock Saints, Sean Patrick Flannery. I met him at, I think it was Horror Hound or whatever. And like, I don't know what brought it up, but he was saying he's worked with so many people, you know, he kind of forgets who he works with too. And I go, and I was messing with him and I go, oh, I was an extra on Boondock Saints. He's like, oh, really? And I'm like, oh, and he was like, you could have been.
That's great.
It's like, you could have been though. I wouldn't know. You should have just said you were.
I always feel bad too because I'm like, oh, I should have mentioned this person. Oh, during certain interviews when they talk about a specific thing, I'm like, oh shoot. But then because I don't remember at the time, but then I'll remember it later. I'm like, oh man.
I'm sorry. You're all part of the team. Thank you.
Exactly.
I would be that way too. When I worked at a restaurant, I did that for the longest time. So we get a new person hired, and they would be like, dude. For like it don't matter what your sex was, you was dude for like a month because I couldn't remember the person's name. And then I ended up finding out there was one kid I was calling by the wrong name for like an extra month.
Oh God!
Nobody told me.
What's funny is that he probably didn't even correct it either, just went by that name. You're just calling him by that name for like a month. Oh, by the way, that's not my name. Thank you. My name's not Flo, bitch. She'll be all right. She's
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Any fun or interesting facts we may not know about you, whether a hobby or interest or anything you'd like to share?
I'm probably not very exciting. I like going on walks on the trails and stuff. I love nature. I do sometimes, if depending on what's going on at the time, I like to do a little cosplay. Nothing like big or anything like that. Just something for fun. So that's about it.
Okay.
Do a little bit of movies and stuff. I think the movie thing is probably the more exciting venture than anything else.
So I know I noticed what was it? The sexy musical, you were in the background. Did you not want to sing, or they didn't give you a singing role, or
musical?
The Into the Woods, or a sexy musical, Into the I forget the title of it now. Shoot. It's the one with the musical. The Wild Eye musical. I'm pretty sure. I thought you were in it. I thought you were in the background in one of the songs.
I don't think so.
I could have sworn that. Okay, maybe it wasn't you. I don't know. I'm now going to go back and look at it.
Well, I've been told several times that I have a doppelganger, so.
Must. Because that's insane. I didn't know if you said. Well, I guess you don't say, or do you sing, or no? I guess not. That was just a random
No,
question.
I don't sing. My husband and my kids think I can sing, but I no, I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. That question doesn't even matter. I guess it was your doppelganger.
Now I don't know
What
about
he's
it.
talking about.
I'm gonna have to check out this musical from Wild Eye.
Yeah, so it's they got like the wolf singing. They were doing this experiment, and she ends up like they go through Alice in Wonderland, and I actually did a review on it, and the mirror is funny, like mocking her and stuff, and it's like it's really crazy. On the back of it, it says it's like Glee on crack. So. But yeah, I have clips of it. If you go back, I did a review on it, and you can see a few. Song clips of it. So, but I can't really.
Clip with her doppelganger, though.
What was that?
So do you have a clip with her
anyway.
Oh no, I
He
don't
said
have.
he had a few clips in his review. I was asking if you had clips of your doppelganger in there.
Oh no, that wasn't on there. No, I have to be careful what I show though on that one. So, yeah. But yeah.
No, I'm sorry, Dilynn. I didn't mean to cut you off. What was you gonna say?
Oh, you're fine. I don't even remember what I was saying now. Oh yeah, I need to catch up on your YouTube stuff.
Yeah, I can't remember if I have it on my Wild Eye Guy 85. I got to see. I might add it to my playlist because I was doing just like a Wild Eye page for a bit, but I do have more followers here on or family members. We don't say the S word on YouTube, but yeah. So I switched back to here a little bit, but I thought it'd be interesting to try to get people who are into Wild Eye and try to get like a whole Wild Eye page done. So, but yeah. So still doing my reviews and everything, and I'm up to 294 titles right now. So
very cool.
Nice. Almost to that 300. So close.
I for sure have one. I know I have a couple other ones, but somebody's gonna have to let me know if they're actually Wild Eye or not, because I don't know. Like I said, I just picked them up at the Dollar Tree, so I'm not 100% sure. But I know for a fact I have one Wild Eye.
Oh, that's funny. I just contacted Patty because she is a friend of mine also, and I told her that she won, and she was wondering were there other questions. I'm like, yes. I guess she thought hers wasn't original enough or something. I don't know.
For me, it was original. I mean, I don't know about Todd. Todd may have been asked that, a few times, but I liked hearing his answer to that, so that was kind of neat to listen to.
He did give some good answers. I really enjoyed his insight on that and the process and everything, and advice he gave and all.
Yes,
that. So
that's one of the things that I love about Todd is he's always there to help you grow. Anybody, like, and he treats everybody with the same respect and, you know, gratuity. Like, he's so thankful to everybody's help, from the small extras to the people behind the scenes. Because without any of us, the crew, the actors, the makeup artists, without any of these people, you wouldn't have a movie.
Right.
So and it takes everybody, and that includes the audience as well. Because without the audience, you guys, we wouldn't have a movie. So it takes every single person out there to come together to create this magic. So he loves everybody for it. So, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
And that's one of the things I love about him, because he's just so respectful to everything.
Yeah.
And it's funny because if he's having a bad night, he, like that night about the news when he was irritated, anytime he's getting upset about any little thing and he thinks he's upset and yelling at people, which he's not, he's never yelled at anybody, by the way. So he will apologize at the end of the night. And we're like, dude, you're fine. Like, you, I mean, a lot of the things he's irritated about are very warranted, because it's stuff that happens that, you know, you can't stop from happening, and it's going to happen. Like someone taking off with half my costume. We're in a bind now, thanks a lot. Or one of the actors not showing up for their part. Well, now what are we going to do? Pull somebody from crew. That's what happened in Bone Hill Road at the beginning. The guy who was supposed to play the father originally didn't show up for the part. So we pulled in this other guy who didn't even want to be acting. He didn't know he was going to be acting that night. So he got pulled into, and he got asked to be, you know, the dad. So, and he had a hard time with cussing at her, because he did not like cussing out women. So, but he did a good job. I think he did a really good job trying to do what he could do.
And just being pulled into it also, that's kind of, you know.
Yeah, last minute.
The last minute challenge itself, exactly.
Yep.
Was part of the crew, or did he get like pulled off the street?
No, he was part of the crew.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. We need you in this.
The only time we pulled anybody off the street was Douglas Epps and Sheila, and that was during Dreaming Purple Neon. They were extras at the time, because they happened to be walking by as we were filming, and they just kind of came along. Hey, what y'all doing? And Todd's like, well, we're making a movie. Come watch.
Is that how you met Douglas?
Yes.
That's great.
Any of the movies, obviously, you know, you gotta get down to work, but is there any jokers on the set at all, or any pranks in between, or anyone?
John O'Hara is pretty funny. He's hard to concentrate when he's in the background.
On Clownnato, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Okay. So he was the little guy that we had also, he was hilarious. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart on his name. John White, is it? Oh, I think so. Who rode the bike or whatever in the
garage? That was his bike cooler. Like, that was his, and that's how he literally gets around is on that. So he is adorably funny. I love him. He is so nice and so sweet. Between him cracking jokes and John cracking jokes, it was really hard to concentrate.
Oh, that must have been a fun one to work on, though. I mean,
all the clowns, when they were together waiting for their seat, and they were all together, they were literally goofing off, staying in character, and just making it really hard to concentrate on your seat.
I don't have the DVD, but if there is whatever, like make it into a Blu-ray or something, you need to have like that in like the deleted scenes or something.
Yeah.
I think on the DVD it was just trailers, and I have it somewhere.
Unfortunately, I don't have that one yet. Eventually, I'll get that one, but I had to definitely pick up the Bonehill one first. But yeah, eventually I'll get Clownnato.
What now?
I feel really bad I forgot his name, though. I don't know if I got that name right, though. But like I say, he is a nice guy. He is really sweet. I think he just recently moved to Wichita, but I'm not 100% sure on that one. But he's super sweet. I felt bad because I don't have a device to go look up something's his name.
It's like, let's look up the cast of Clownnato.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, the
We
internet
have
movie database.
Here, I could do it.
originally we had somebody else cast for that role, and he was part of a wrestling, midget wrestling, I believe, and he was supposed to play that part, but he ended up having wrestling gigs, and he didn't show up. That was one of our issues of actors not showing up on Clownnato. And we were setting up to film, and next thing we're going, and Todd's like, "Hey, where's our actor?" Well, he's like 2 states away in a wrestling competition or show.
What was the character's name? You was trying to think of the real person's name.
John White, I'm thinking.
Is that the character's name?
There's a Jeffrey.
I think that's his real name.
Jeffrey White.
Jeffrey, that's it. Oh, yeah, that's it. Jeffrey White.
Say Shrinky Dink.
Shrinky
Yes. Yeah, Shrinky Dink. Yeah.
Yeah, I pulled up
Jeffrey
IMDb, and it didn't have his. As I pulled up IMDb, but it didn't have a picture. A lot of people in here don't have pictures, so I was wondering what the character's name was.
Well,
yeah, we figured it out. Yeah, it's Jeffrey White.
IMDb charges now, so not everybody has an account. Yeah.
Oh, so that's why they like some people might not have pictures then. Okay.
Exactly, because you have to have a membership, and it's pretty pricey for the membership. So, luckily, my husband lets me get away with that. So, because they're from men, I didn't have one either.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but it makes sense. But
yeah.
Okay. Because I kind of wonder that every now and then how some people didn't have pictures. They're like, oh, okay, well.
That's why,
All right. Learn something new every day.
Right. Yeah, we'll never have. Well, at least me. I don't know. You've at least been in movies, but I'll never be in one, so I know I never have to worry about it.
I know a YouTuber who does nerdy stuff, and he got himself an IMDb, and he even listed me as herself on his YouTube channel. So some of the YouTubers do have their own IMDb page. It just depends on how you're doing worth what you know.
Right? Yeah, they probably have like a certain amount of subscribers or something.
Yeah.
Hit the 5,000 mark or something, probably.
Probably more like 10
or 10,000.
It's probably 10 or more. That's what I would think.
Well, they have an IMDb, probably 10,000, maybe. I don't know.
I'm not sure. Just a guess. But
if I were to guesstimate, I don't know.
We can only hope one day.
Let's see. Well, all mine would probably. I was an extra and never back down. I was in the club, and I had sent a copy when it first came out to a friend of mine for her birthday, and I signed it, and I just said the club guy. Seconds when Sean Ferris, I'm talking to this girl, he bumps right into me when he's walking by, and then that's it. So it's like I was there from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. You see me for 3 seconds. Woohoo! All right.
It's better than most.
I did get paid $400 though, so I mean, just for
nice.
And they fed us and everything. Got to see the movie made. Meet the actors. So it's like, heck, all right, sure, I'll come there and do that.
See, that's awesome. Yeah.
Like when they're doing the fighting, of course, in between, makeup's putting on the bruises, spraying water makes it look like they're sweating. They got the camera helmets on, fighting in the parking lot, picking them up in the car and all that. And it's like looking so much different. You're watching it, you see all the wires and stuff, and then you're watching the movie and it's gone. So it's a fun experience. So hopefully I'll maybe do more someday. I don't know. We'll see. But
we'll never know. If Tim Hatch has his way, you'll be in something. So it was Tim Hatch, and it was who was the other guy? I'm going to blank on the other guy that.
What, Kyle? Kyle?
Yeah, Kyle.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I don't know why I was going to blank on him, but yeah. So if he has their way, we'll be in something.
We'll see. Even if it's like a screenshot at home or something, I'll play myself. Whatever.
I think Tim would be fun to work with.
Yeah, he seems like it's fun to do something with. So who knows? I'm sort of have an idea. Well, based off our idea of writing something. So we'll see how that works out. Maybe release that and do my own movie.
There you go.
So, oh boy.
Are you talking about the hippo?
Yeah. So of course we're talking about the hippo. I think people might be tired of hearing the hippo. I mean, I know our guests have we've mentioned the
I was
hippo
just making
so
sure
many
we're on the same page, but yeah, we don't have to get
That
into it.
the man eating hippopotamus you were talking about with
Yeah.
was it Tim?
Probably. I know we brought it up more than
well,
once.
it's a whole thing that started back with Danielle Donahue. So yeah,
It's just what she'd asked about movies, and I've been talking about this for years. And so I was like, I got one.
and then I sort of mutated it and twisted it around, but.
But yeah, we brought it up a few times.
About maybe 5 now. I don't know.
Probably.
We're gonna bring it up every show now. Whatever. We're sorry, viewers. I'm sure you're sick of hearing about the damn hippos.
Zombie robots. What?
Huh?
Oh, my husband said something about zombie robots, and I was like, what?
How can a robot be a zombie?
I don't know. Then he changed it to the robot zombie. I just said that. What?
So would it be a robot with a human brain, or I don't know?
It's just programmed to be a zombie, he says.
The idea has merit.
But instead of eating flesh, would it eat like cars and metal and bolts and stuff? Because it's a robot. I mean, I don't know. It'd be like Bender, bite my shiny ass.
I love Bender.
You can have Bender's mentality and then be a zombie on the side.
I'm kind of wondering how that would work out, though, because they're not living to begin with.
Well, he could be. I was gonna say he could be a cannibal, but that wouldn't make sense if he's a robot. He'd eat toasters. He said. Now my son wants to join in on it. He's like, "What about toasters?"
Killer toasters.
Yeah, there you go. Killer toasters from outer space.
I love it.
It's like so much for our childhood of the brave little toaster. Now it's the
Right.
killer, the little killer toaster has like a little knife in his hand.
Zombie toasters from outer space. I think we're getting a little far out there now. We gotta draw a line somewhere.
Well, I mean, if you can make a movie Rubber or
Right.
not.
Yeah.
True.
I just watched that one recently. That was a funny movie.
Yes. I like how they I guess upgrading at the end. I guess that's the word I want to use without like giving away the end.
Yeah, that ending was hilarious. I was like, what? No, they did not. They did.
I was surprised they didn't make another one because that is more popular than you would think it
Yeah.
would be. Almost
Yeah.
everybody knows what Rubber is.
Yep.
I don't know if it has good ratings, but everybody knows about it.
Well, they actually, and besides that, I don't know if it was a trauma movie or not, or sort of like that, but they did killer condoms. They had like teeth, and they were going around. I don't know if you ever saw that or not. That was a
I've seen clips of it, but I haven't seen the movie.
And then they had Attack of the or just Killer Donuts. That was a fun.
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
Attack of the
that.
Killer Donuts.
So,
I haven't got to see it yet. It's still on my watch list, but yeah, I've heard of it.
maybe how about some vampire toilet paper? There we go.
Oh, that might be a shitty movie.
Exactly. Yeah, it might be.
That would be bad, especially if you think about it. It would be what he's sucking on.
Either end.
Oh my goodness.
What else random stuff would be fun? I don't know. What was the last thing Eileen was saying? We're going to have the viewers sign a little waiver. They can't give away our ideas. Like,
You cannot steal our fabulous ideas and go rich. Some of them haven't been too bad, but some of them were just being goofy.
Oh yeah, that was it. No, you know it would really suck if like the silliest one that we use actually happened.
That's usually how it works, though.
Back in like middle school, I forget, it was probably 90-ish, something like that. We had to make like our own board games. It was like some school project thing. And I think it was like a zombie, like Monopoly thing. And I thought it was a really good idea. I don't remember what grade I got on it and whatever, but it was like no such thing. And now they have actually zombie Monopoly. I was like, man,
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
Monopoly? Yeah, they got tons of different Monopoly.
yeah, I thought of it before it was actually created.
If only.
Man, only would have known.
Right. I would have been older than like 13. I made a zombie Monopoly game before there was such a thing. Yeah. Oh.
For some reason,
Teenagers.
That reminds me of a project I was going to do in my English, where we one of the things we could do was make an amusement park based off a book, and I had a book called The Boy Who Dared, which is based off what I think is Boy Who Dared, something similar to that. It was based off the Holocaust, so I spent 2 days making an Holocaust theme park in the car.
Well, I didn't know that was going there.
Okay.
And let's just say the people who went in there had the authentic experience.
Okay then.
Yeah, let's just say it was 3 days of brainstorming.
Oh.
It got so bad to a point where when I hadn't even written anything down yet. The teacher deliberately said, "No, you cannot make." Oh.
You cannot make it.
It didn't stop me from thinking about it more, though.
Well, that went weird.
Oh.
I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah.
This is for somebody that we had to write a horror story, and he picked Florida Man as the topics. We wrote a Florida Man, a horror story for his English class. I figured it was going to be more along that lines, or I wouldn't have put the mic up. You're cut off.
You're cut off from the mic. No more.
I can pick up what words.
Okay, yeah, that's enough. Go away.
Like, now we got to edit this all out.
Yeah, I had no idea that was going there.
Anything can happen live.
Right? He's just maniacally laughing. Hopefully he's just making that up because I put the mic up to him. Okay then.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyways.
Oh,
Oh,
Holocaust land. What were we talking about?
Just me as multiple people.
okay, go to your room. Oh my god.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that went from...
Now we're just like all pondering, like, I don't know what to say to that.
Oh
It's
my
the part
God.
of the conference gateway. Why do you care about Snowflake? You know him? Does he come to your home? Do you have a dorsal fin?
Those awkward teenage moments.
Right? Oh my god. I'm more like laughing out of shock than anything. I was just like, what the fuck?
So, there's a story for you. Todd is like, oh, so if Todd asks you how'd the rest of the interview go? Oh, it went good.
It only
I think
escalated.
he would probably appreciate that, and he would be laughing with us.
There's his next movie idea.
Oh God. Probably not. Then again, who knows?
Right.
Well, we got a roaming tire, so yeah, I guess anything goes.
I think they need more random like things coming to life, and like the tire and electric toothbrush.
I thought did I say that before?
Maybe, I don't know. I heard him saying, I repeated what he said.
I like the sofa one,
Yeah,
which is actually
Good
fine.
sofa. You see,
Yeah.
I still got to watch it, but there's one called Slacks.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I
Yeah,
want to
I've
watch
seen
that
that one.
too.
So,
I like that one. I haven't seen Killer Sofa, but I've seen Slacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Killer Sofa is really good. It's one of my favorites. But it's funny because it's a recliner, not a sofa.
Yeah, I know,
yeah, that's
I
what
saw
I
that.
did. Yeah, it's a recliner.
I remember making a comment of that when I pulled it up when I was looking at Prime. I was like, why is that called a sofa?
They probably ate the sofa, I guess. I don't know. But,
I don't know.
Definitely check it out. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it's been on my watch. I have so many movies on my watch list. I never get around to. Yeah, it's been on my watch list, along with like the Killer Pinata and
that's fun.
what was the other one? Lamageddon. I can't even remember. I got a lot of goofy movies on my watch list. Killer Donuts. I did try to watch that, but I fell asleep. Not because it's boring, it's just because I fall asleep randomly in movies. But
I do that too.
You ever like fall asleep during a movie and you like, since it's playing, like you dream you're watching it, but you're really not, like, have you ever like had that like where you're like dreaming you're watching a movie?
Yes.
I had something like that happen because I don't know if you've heard. We have the Ring doorbell, so if somebody goes in front of the house, whatever goes off. It went off earlier tonight, but yeah, I woke up. I fell asleep. I took a nap or something. I woke up with it going off during the day, and I remember like it was like incorporated in my dream of Alexa saying that there's motion at your front door. I don't remember how the dream went, but I just remember it was like in the dream.
Oh.
Were you dreaming Purple Neon?
Maybe I haven't seen it yet. I can't say.
Well, I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I want to. I was trying to find it, but I might just end up just getting the DVD maybe. So, because I definitely want to see it. So, alrighty then. I'm getting kind of hungry, I guess. Come over an hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, unless there's anything else you want to say, I think we're probably good.
Nope. Yeah, you can find most of my stuff on Amazon Prime or Amazon for the hard copies. You can find them on Tubi or Roku. Some of them anyway, not all of them, but a lot of them are streaming. Mostly the Wild Eye ones are mostly streaming on a lot of platforms. So, and then you can reach me on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram.
Alrighty then. Thank you very much. It was fun. Thanks.
That was fun.
All right. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And then, and don't forget, everybody, tomorrow. I guess you're still here, Dilynn. You can leave if you want. I was just saying who is tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
You're good. I was just saying.
You can stay if you want. Go ahead.
I was just going to say tomorrow we have Jamie Morgan coming on at 7, our normal time on Saturday. And then and then on the 9th, Rebecca Reinhart from Fright Vision, Sharks of the Corn or Sharks in the Corn, whatever. That also. And and Carousel too, of course. So
she's fun to work with. She was fun on Backwards Bubba.
Oh, okay. So you know Rebecca then. All right. Yeah, she'll be joining us. So
yeah. Have you seen Backwards Bubba yet?
No, not yet.
That's the one movie I did last September with Rebecca.
Nice.
I'll definitely have to look that one up too. Thank you very much.
Brad Thomason did that one. He might be able to hook you up with a digital download or something. Because he recently went in and re-edited it, and it's really good. So, well, it's a lot better than the first draft that he did. So.
Okay, yeah, and then I'll definitely review it too and stuff and get it out there.
He's a newer filmmaker, so he's learning, So, and as he's progressing, he's getting better as he's learning, and he's definitely one to look for as far as he likes doing the trashy movies as he's been advertising them as. So, definitely the very low budget movies that if you're like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll definitely have to
He's
do that.
recently doing a T-Rex one that looks like a lot of fun. So
All right.
Nice.
I just recently watched Ebola Rex. That was pretty funny. So,
yeah.
so another T-Rex. Definitely check that one out too.
The dinosaur ones are usually fun.
I love dinosaur movies. Yes.
Well, Velocipaster. Yeah, gotta love dinosaur movies. But anyway, yes. But thank you for that information there. So yes. What was I saying now? Tomorrow, Rebecca.
Jamie.
No, Jamie. That got me talking on to Rebecca. Thinking I'm jumping into the future. I'm psychic. I'm just transporting into the future. That's all. Yes, Jamie tomorrow, then Rebecca. But yes. And all right, well, that's it for real this time.
All right. Bye, guys. Now I hit the leave button, right?
Right. Bye.
Bye, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
No problem.
Bye.
Bye.
And broadcast.